Whenever seed oils come up, inflammation is the big buzzword, right? But what if that's not the whole story? Not even close. We're going to dig into this really cool idea called the ROS hypothesis. It suggests that seed oils might be doing something way sneakier, like silently flipping an off switch on your metabolism. All right, so let's get right into it. For years, we've been told inflammation is the bad guy, the number one enemy in our diet. But this idea, this hypothesis, it's telling us to look past that, to go deeper, right into the powerhouse of our cells. Think about it like this. What if your metabolism has an off switch for storing fat, but that switch is broken? It's just stuck in the on position 24/7. That's the heart of what we're talking about today. A tiny malfunction deep inside your cells that could be forcing your body to just keep storing and storing and storing. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to step away from that familiar inflammation story. We need to introduce the main character here, a special molecule that your own body actually makes. And that molecule is called reactive oxygen species, or ROS for short. Now hang on, I know what you're thinking. ROS? Isn't that bad? Isn't that oxidative stress? And yeah, you're not wrong, but here's the twist. In the right amounts, ROS aren't the villains at all. They're actually messengers. They're the signal that your mitochondria, your cellular power plant, send out to say, hey, we're good here. We've got enough fuel. It's basically a metabolic brake pedal. So this metabolic brake, this off switch, how does it actually work? Let's walk through this really elegant little system that's designed to keep everything running smoothly. It's a pretty straightforward process, really. First, when your mitochondria are burning fuel, they naturally produce a little bit of ROS. Think of it like a tiny, controlled puff of exhaust from a well-tuned engine. Step 2, that little puff of ROS is a signal. It tells insulin, all right, job's done, you can stand down now. But, and this is the critical part, what happens if that signal is too weak? If that little puff of smoke is barely there, well, it can't tell insulin to switch off, and that's where the whole system gets out of whack, leaving your body stuck in fat storage mode. Here's a great way to picture it. Imagine that ROS signal is like the flame on your stove. When everything is working perfectly, you have this nice, steady, controlled blue flame. That's healthy ROS signaling. But if you crank it up way too high, that's oxidative stress. You're just burning everything. On the flip side, what if the flame is flickering, barely even lit? That's a weak signal, and that's when your metabolism gets sluggish and gets stuck just storing energy instead of cooking with it. Okay, so if our whole metabolism depends on this perfectly calibrated flame, what could possibly be messing with it? What could be turning the gas down? And that right there brings us right back to seed oils. This is the connection. Seed oils are loaded with something called linoleic acid. Now, according to the ROS hypothesis, this particular fat does something really counterintuitive. It makes our mitochondria burn, well, too efficiently. It's like a super clean fuel that produces almost none of that ROS exhaust smoke we were talking about. And if there's no smoke, there's no signal. Insulin never gets the message to shut down. The off switch is essentially broken, and the body just defaults to storing fat, day in and day out. And you can imagine this isn't just some small glitch. When that off switch is broken for weeks, months, years, it triggers a whole domino effect of problems across your entire body. Yeah, the consequences are huge. Your body is stuck in storage mode, so fat starts to accumulate not just where you can see it, but in places you can't, like deep inside your organs. And here's the really wild part. You have all this stored energy, literally pounds of it, but you feel exhausted all the time. Why? Because your cells can't access it. They can't burn it. And over the long haul, this constant state of imbalance can lead to some really serious issues, like insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. All right, that's a lot to take in, I know. So the big question is, what do we do about it? Let's talk about some practical things you can actually do to help get your mitochondria back on track and restore that all-important signal. Honestly, the big takeaway is pretty simple. It's about being mindful of the fats you're using. The idea is to limit those industrial seed oils super high in linoleic acid. We're talking soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower oil, the usual suspects, and instead lean into traditional whole food fats that our bodies have known for a long time. Things like butter, ghee, a good extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. These fats don't seem to mess with that delicate signaling system. So really, it all comes down to this one question. It's a shift in thinking, isn't it? It's not just about calories or macros. It's about information. It's about how the fats you eat are literally sending messages to your cells. So you have to ask yourself, is your diet helping your metabolism fire on all cylinders, or could it be accidentally silencing it?